Good morning, Faith family, and welcome to our Sunday service for July 19th in the year 2020, the year that just keeps on giving. Many of you have seen me with, this is my fairly standard Sunday morning coffee mug, but it's doing double duty service this week because it features a fox, and this is my shout out to Teresa and Ken Fox. Many of you will know this by now, but some of you might not. The Mountesburg Baptist Church flooded this past week. I actually did this in the announcements for last Sunday, but then as several of you pointed out, I missed up the link so that you just got the reflection twice and didn't actually get that announcement. So mea culpa, my fault, sorry. But yeah, so it's a little over a week now. The basement completely flooded, several inches of water, lots of stuff was destroyed, and of course it's very, very sad. And we're in a season of mourning, but also in a season of activity now too, as the property committee has been working very, very tirelessly. So again, I want to say thanks to Teresa and Ken Fox, who worked diligently power vacuuming the basement there and getting the water out so that we could go ahead and start with the repairs. The carpets are out. We've saved the materials that we can. We're leaving the rest to sort of be examined, and we're going to figure out some steps moving forward. But I also want to include Tom Gillespie in that. George Galloway, Marty Adams, Chris Faith, Teresa Gunby, for coming by the church and helping us as we go forward. So obviously it's a very sad and tragic time, but it seems weirdly fitting for this 2020. And if this had to happen, and I don't want to jump to this too lightly. But if this had to happen, the timing on it is very interesting. Obviously, we have this in place. The building will not be available to be used for a while until we figure out the steps to go forward. Obviously, we want to be concerned about mold and just going ahead. So the basement, when we do meet in Mountesburg Baptist Church again, will look a lot different. So as a faith family, and I want to include Westover in this as well, think about, we've been given this rough thing that's happened, this accident, but we can also now turn it into an opportunity. And this has been somewhat of the theme of this year, is sort of looking at, is 2020 this disaster, or in some ways this is something that we can absolutely grow from and learn from and actually start to see the blessings in this very challenging year. Not to mention, we're several weeks into the series about the church, and I don't know if you picked up on this theme, but the church is not the building. And so we want to care for this building, this sacred space that's been dedicated, these two sacred spaces, that have been dedicated for well over a century, closing in on 2 centuries now, to the worship of God. And there's something very special about these little red brick churches and these little communities in the space that they occupy. So as all things, let's hold these in tension as we sort of continue to figure out what is the church. It's a sacred community. It's a community that is supposed to be light and enjoyable. It's a place where we can reach out to each other. We can support each other. We can be there together, and which is why I use the term family. It's a family that is not bound by time or space, clearly, but is about each one of our intentional desire to answer God's call to be a part, whatever capacity that is, these sacred communities. So neither flood nor fire, let's not have fire, any of these sort of obstacles we come across do not in any way, shape, or form lessen us as a church. And in many ways probably actually strengthen us. So that's the announcement. And one of the major ways in which we function as a faith family is to pray for one another. So please take your time to look at the prayer concerns for this week. I'm very excited to say that little Agnes, Isabel and Nate's daughter, came through her surgery with flying colors. So that's really good. That's very exciting. And we're hoping that that's going to help increase her ability to hear and, of course, minimize her ear infections. So poor little thing's been suffering through a lot of ear infections. So I think that's about it for announcements. So again, for this week, we hold on when we'll physically be getting back together in Ontario here. We're entering into phase 3 now. So it's rolling, but we're gonna be wise, we're gonna be patient. And again, with the obstacle at Mountesburg, that sort of forces us to reassess what's going on. So again, so much thanks to those who've worked so tirelessly. I think of the Foxes, even though they never really like to get the shout out, but it's important. And to everybody in both of these faith families that work so tirelessly to ensure that these communities continue to exist. And that's what we're doing. We're here to support each other, and most importantly, to worship and give thanks to God, who provides all of us with meaning. So, somewhat of a rambly opening, but welcome. And I hope you enjoy the songs. I hope you enjoy the prayers this morning. And I hope you are comfortable and relaxed. And as I've figured out in the past few weeks, I hope you're dry. And that's about it. All right, God bless. Let's dig in.